Hey everyone, Maka here. We're continuing with our Hitman Absolution hard walkthrough. This is mission 12, Death Factory. This mission's not too bad. It's on the longer side and there's a few tricky parts, although there's a good amount of checkpoints and a lot of waiting, so that's what makes it long. You gotta be a little patient with me here. I kill a little few too many people, so I don't get the silent assassin rating, although I am pretty close as far as I know. One of the main problems was these two first people. I killed them and there's nowhere to hide their bodies, so you automatically lose those points. What you can actually do right here is trigger that alarm and hide on the other side of the little thing in front of me, and then you can sneak into the room and steal the evidence without either one of the guards noticing you. I took the kind of sloppy route, which I usually don't take, which is just killing both guards. You don't see me do that often, but this time I made an exception. Shoot the guy in the head, the other guy will run out and see what happened, and I shot him in the face as well, and then just continued on with the mission. I recommend you actually steal their disguises, as right after this section, right after the cinematic, I end up killing another guard for his uniform as I needed it. So that was kind of stupid. That was one extra person that I didn't need to kill, but again, not a huge deal. After those two guys, steal a uniform, unless you can do it stealthily. It's also possible. And in here, you'll pick up the evidence with Y as always. You get a bunch of points, and the second piece of evidence is in the same room where you grab the key card that you need to grab to get into this section in the first place. You see me a little confused here. I don't really know where I'm going. This is obviously my first playthrough of this mission, what you're seeing here, and I'm kind of improvising as I go. For further sections, I did retry the checkpoint a few times. Keep in mind, if you see me at a checkpoint and then you're at that same checkpoint and the enemies aren't exactly where they are on my screen, if you restart that checkpoint, it'll actually reset all the enemies to be exactly in the same spot as me. Although if you wait for long enough, they'll all run through their cycles and end up in the same spot eventually. Restarting checkpoints won't kill any of your points. Once you get the key card and both of those small evidence, data, whatever they are, you're just going to walk down here and trigger that elevator. Once the elevator starts going down, you'll trigger a cinematic and you'll be in the next section of the level. This section's actually pretty short, as there's a checkpoint pretty close to you, and we're going to trigger that. I'll show you exactly where it is. At this section, I didn't have a officer's or guard's uniform, which is why I killed this guy. I hit his body so the points crossed each other out. But I did kill him for his uniform, as I found it quite a lot easier to do the rest of the mission with it on. And I will need to kill one of the... I'll actually kill like 6 or 7 people this mission, to be honest. And I still did pretty well in it, so, you know, that speaks for itself. Anyways, once we have a uniform and everything, we're going to climb up this ladder to the left. And your guard might be in a different spot if you climb the ladder right away. But this guy right in front of me, he will eventually turn and walk that way. And then you can just walk behind him. If he's further up, you can also walk behind him. It's not a huge deal. And we're just walking forward. You might get spotted by the two guys on the bridge to your left, to your right rather. If you're worried about getting caught, you can just use a little bit of instinct. Not a lot is necessary. We're going to hide here. There's 2 guards and a contaminated hazmat worker, whatever you want to call him. One of the guards will walk away, and then the other guard will kind of stay there forever, literally. And you'll need a little bit of instinct to walk by him, which is why I recommend you do kill someone, at least to have a little bit of instinct that you can use right here to not get spotted. Down these stairs to your right, you'll have a checkpoint. I recommend you use it. And right after this checkpoint, it's probably about a 5 to 6 minute section of the mission without any save points. The section itself is actually really easy, but if you do screw up, you actually have a lot of waiting. We're going into the second door on the right. Once we get to the bottom of those stairs, we're going to kill this guy. We're going to drag him over, steal his disguise, and then we're going to dump his body into this dumpster just to be safe so he doesn't get found and we're not spotted, or, you know, guards aren't suspicious of us. And then once we do that, we have a little panel in the room. You're going to see me sabotage. It's going to kill the lights, and these 2 guards are going to come over to inspect it. As they're coming over to inspect it, just jump through the window. You can obviously walk right by them, as you're in a different disguise, so they won't notice you look suspicious. And once that happens, you trigger this, We're going to turn around. There's a staircase, and we're going to walk up that staircase. You'll notice the target is right there. You can probably kill him and get away with it in this staircase, although it's kind of sloppy because there's no way you'll be able to hide his body in time. So I let him go. I come up this way, and I put my butt right against here. And you have about 2 minutes around, I would guesstimate. You're going to have about 2 minutes right here to just wait. So I'm going to kind of try to explain what happens and what you're looking for. You'll see a staircase. If you look down through the grate on the right hand side of my screen, there's a staircase. The target will begin to walk down those stairs and then down the hall across, you know, in the middle area to your left. Like, he'll walk across from right to left. And then there's a guard in the room right in front of me on the same level as me, dressed just like me, looking at some of the control panels and stuff. So there I'm showing you the guy, and after waiting a while, you'll see the guard in the yellow up there with me. He's going to walk back and forth left and right a few times, and there's also a little a police officer or security there that will kind of monitor what's happening. You want the monitoring guy to turn around and leave. And as he leaves, you want to walk into that room when the guy in yellow goes from really close to you and starts walking away from you. That's the time you're waiting for. As you see, the guard just left, and the guy in the yellow went from left to right. Now he's going to come from right to left. And then as he turns away to go back to where he is right now, we're going to come up behind him. We're going to trigger a button, and we're going to walk away. And that's going to kill our target, and we're going to go for the next checkpoint, which is actually this is a pretty easy section. The only thing is when everything starts exploding and shit starts hitting the fan, everyone becomes a little suspicious, so you'll need a little bit of instinct. Luckily, you'll have quite a bit of instinct as you did a signature kill. So we press that button, boom, 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 everyone dies. Everyone starts rushing. Just walk that way. I used instinct because I wasn't sure if that guy in the yellow would turn around. You can take that ladder to the left that I just passed, but I recommend going all the way around as you're not likely to get spotted and unlikely to die from explosions if you're up here. We're going to take the same ladder we took up, except we're going to obviously take it down this time. And once we take it down, we're going to cross the room using the back spot where the elevator was that we descended in to get to the next section. And obviously, if you keep watching, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Down the ladder we go. This is the one we used to get up to the top. And remember, we haven't triggered a checkpoint in a while, so you want to be careful. I like to crouch, just it decreases your visibility for enemies to spot you. We're crossing across through the elevator section, keeping an eye out on our radar, of course. And once we hit these doors, we trigger a checkpoint, and you've gotten through the second hardest part of the mission. This part's actually really easy. I did restart the checkpoint, so I got slightly different enemies than you might if you try to do it right off the bat. If you want to get exactly what you see on my screen, restart the checkpoint. Go to your left to this meeting room. You don't have to use any instinct. These guys don't know you at all. Through the doors, turn left. You'll end up in like a shower area, a decontamination area. There are some guys in yellow, so make sure you peek around corners before you go around them to see whether or not the guy is one of your people or not. There is a guy in yellow right there. You want to make sure to avoid him. And you're just walking literally directly to the target, the checkpoint you see on your map. And it's going to be this computer here. You're going to press Y to do that, and you'll complete the objective. As always, we're going into the washroom where there's a vent. Every washroom in this game, I think, has a vent, like literally. We're going to go across. You don't have to peek. I peeked because this is my first time playing this section. And then we exit out, and to our right, I believe, we just go up the stairs and through the doors, and we're on to the hardest section of the game, not the game, sorry guys, of this mission. It's not really that hard. It's just a lot of waiting. If you do screw up, it's really boring, as you have to wait literally 3 minutes at least for the kill that I get at least. There are other ways to do it. I'll explain the other ways that will get you just as many points and just as many of the challenges done. But once the coast is clear and that guard down there turns around, we're gonna go down this first set of stairs, and to the left there's gonna be 2 guys working here in this room. We're just going to leave them alone. Almost got spotted. I picked up the coffee mug and threw it behind him just so I could, you know, get away without having to wait for him to run his course. Just a little faster that way. I do like to throw objects as distractions quite a bit in this game if you haven't already noticed that. I end up killing about 3 people now, and I do that because the room that I need to be empty is full of people, and you need it to be empty so you can do one of the signature assassinations. There's a challenge for making both of the kills look accidental through experiments. So one of the targets will come up to this room to perform an experiment, and you'll need to have this room basically to yourself. You'll also want one of these lab worker uniforms for a disguise, as the guy in yellow isn't really allowed here at all, so it makes your life a lot easier. I looked for a place to dump this guy. I thought one of those lockers would work, as you can see me checking them out. I was actually wrong, and you can dump these guys somewhere if you're looking for that silent assassin rating. I don't, because I don't really care, to be honest, and to be quite frank, I actually thought I would get that rating just leaving them there. So we got all 3 of those guys now, and we dragged them into that hallway staircase, or whatever you want to call it. I also got the Piano Man playstyle because I fiber wired 5 people in one mission. So if you're interested in getting playstyles, obviously for an achievement and just for fun, that's obviously an option for you. And as soon as that happens, we're gonna go and keep an eye on your map. The target might be in the room. If he's in the room, don't do this yet, but hopefully he will be exactly how he is for me. Pick up this evidence in this room and then trigger this checkpoint. Once you trigger that checkpoint, you should be able to go up these stairs, and hopefully one of the targets is the black guy, and he should be in the room, literally walking into the room with you. You should hide from him. It doesn't really matter. He won't really spot you out if you keep your distance. He's going to play around with that computer, and that's why you need to kill all the enemies in this room, because they will spot you and notice you when you perform the assassination. He's going to move away from the computer and go towards those dummies. As soon as he starts tinkering with one of the dummies, just hold Y and the electric gun will shoot him and kill him. As soon as that happens, you can literally walk away and be mindful of where the enemies are. If you want, it is an option for you to now trigger the checkpoint instead of before. Basically, what I mean is that, let's say if you screw up from now on, you have to redo that assassination. If you want, you can actually trigger the checkpoint right now, and it'll be more evenly spaced in between both sections, although you're kind of running the risk either way. Once we get to this section, we're going to go through the door and descend down the stairs. We are in a lab worker's uniform now, so we won't be very easily spotted. The only people that can spot us are other lab workers. And if they do start spotting us, we can either walk away or use instinct. As always, just try to remain unseen and unsuspicious. I grabbed the syringe. I didn't end up using it. So now you have 2 ways to do this. I do it the way that takes a lot longer, and I think gets the same amount of points, although there is another way. After the meeting, the doctor will, or whatever, I don't know, I think he's a doctor. I think he's one of the doctors. After this discussion, he's going to go to his left. He's going to go to his right first, work on the little computer station. Then he's going to go to his left after about a minute. And when he's there, you can perform a silent assassination. To do that one, you want to get to the very back of the room. And you can do that by going to the back using the side I'm on right now. If you were to go, and there you'll see 2 guards there, and you'll want to trigger a little bit of a robot arm there to get a distraction, so you can sneak around those 2 guards that were on the left of my screen right there. And then there's a little valve. You open the valve to release some gas, and once it starts gassing up, you literally just walk up behind him and just fiber wire him. No one will see you as the room is filled with gas. You can also throw a syringe at his head right there if you are feeling a little bit you know, courageous and you think you can get away with it. Anyways, So where he is right now, if you go to the back of the room, you pull the valve, the room will fill with gas. You can go right up to him, behind him, fiber wire him, drag his body to the edge of the ledge, and throw it over, and you'll get a silent assassin rating. It looked like an accident, all that stuff. And then you can just proceed on and trigger the bridge at the end of the level, which is pretty easy. What I end up doing is the very long, over-exaggerated method that takes about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 minutes longer. Not a huge deal. Again, I did get a very good rating. If I killed one less guy and hid more bodies, I think I would have gotten it, or played on a one difficulty further. Either way, we're waiting it out. As soon as he's done all his rounds, he'll end up in a room to our right hand side, and he'll end up sitting down on a chair with a robot arm near it. If we go to the computer to the left of that robot, we can press a button, and I recommend you leave the room as soon as you press it, even though he won't die for about 20 or 30 seconds, as all the people rush into there to check what happened, and you want to be out of there when that happens. So as he sits down, you want to be right here in front of these computers, and you're going to press Y once he sits down so that the robot arm kills him. Again, it would be nice to see how he dies, but you want to leave this room as soon as possible so that guards don't get suspicious onto you. You want to, as soon as you walk out, use a little bit of instinct so people don't get too suspicious of you, and you want to make your way to the left. I end up screwing this up, so I end up doing it twice, but you'll see exactly where I screw up and what I did wrong. You'll get 10 gamer score for killing both of them, by the way. You can do it either way. If you just knock them out or shoot them, you will get that achievement as well, I believe. You want to trigger that arm and then hide behind here, and that'll get one of the guards, or not guards, one of the technicians to come look at it. And at that point, you can either throw something or sneak behind the other one to get to the final switch. I didn't really jump on the opportunity, and I waited a little bit too long, and I was scared that that guard would catch up behind me and see me. As you can see, I got like 4 or 5 challenges there, so that's always good to know that the assassinations I'm showing you are the decent ones. I tried to look to see if the other side was maybe clearer, but it's not. So I do the same thing again, and then this time I actually get on the opportunity. I do try to throw the syringe at a metal object to try to get the other guy to turn around so I can sneak behind him more easily. He honestly won't see you. He's pretty much blind, and if he does see you, you are free to just use a lot of instinct to get by him. You see me throw the syringe there to try to make noise. He doesn't budge. I just go for it at this point. I'm tired of waiting around. I use instinct just to get by him easily, and we're walking all the way to this switch here. Once we get to the switch, we're going to trigger it. That's going to activate the bridge. You want to keep an eye out on those little arrows to see how much you're being spotted. And while you're waiting for that bridge, you want to chill right here. So that valve in front of me is the valve I was talking about earlier. If you can manage to get here and pull that valve while the doctor is walking around, you can sneak up on him, fiber wire him, and throw him over the edge, and no one will see as everyone's occupied with the gas that is filling the room. And then you're gonna still have to pull this bridge lever and whatnot, and then once it's down, you kind of want to just sneak out. You can crouch all the way, or you can use instinct. Just don't run, as they will get suspicious onto you. Although if you do run, you'll actually make it there before they get to you, and you'll still finish the level no problem. At this section, you're going to walk up to the computer and press Y, and then there's going to be a small cinematic, I believe, and then, actually no, there isn't. I stand around because I'm kind of waiting for something, and I didn't realize that on my map there's actually 2 new objectives. You have to kill both of the control panels that are located on the wall. There's 2 of them in the room. You can't get spotted, or you can't, there's no enemies in this section, so you don't have to worry about anything. This is more of a story builder section. We're going to pull both wires out of the wall, and we're going to walk through those doors at the end of the hall, and I believe that is mission over. I get professional. Yeah, I get professional rating. I'm only a couple thousand off. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in episode 13, mission Fight Night, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like.